Lucero and Kelly Mangahas of Radio Republic. Now we were just talking about going mainstream, as you guys have done at some point in your lives. You wanted to share something.
Yeah, artists would have different takes on this. I mean, some would strive for getting to the mainstream, being popular. Some just don't care. You know, they just want to be honest with their music, get it out there, and play live. That's fine. But I think as a people, Filipino music should not be the minority. I mean, sorry, I keep on getting back into this. Dapat yun yung mainstream. I feel that, if you care about your culture, then that should be priority.
Yeah. Well, let's take your case, for example, Imago versus Human Folk. Probably Human Folk would not be as mainstream as Imago, right?
Yes. Human Folk is more world music / jazz, because Johnny that's his thing.
Yeah.
And Imago, it wasn't planned or anything. I mean, it happened, and it happened. And why? Because during that time, traditional media, they were crossing over bands left and right.
Yeah.
First part 2000, the decade. So again, it went back to that. Now they shifted to something else. So so that's why. So
it's all about preferences. Because unfortunately, even in the world music scene, you aren't really an artist until you make it in the U.S., right? Yes. Whether you're from Europe or something. And in the Philippines,
everybody's gunning for the U.S.
Right? Yeah.
I was in a trip there early this year, and they'd be surprised. I talked to a Malaysian. Yeah, we're trying to make it here in the U.S. And then you talk to a guy from Germany. They're all trying to make it in the U.S.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is tough, man. Why don't you guys try to make it in your own country first?
Yes.
And just make something there.
Exactly.
I mean, look at Korea. I mean, they have their own version of the boy band pop thing. Turned into
They really manufactured them.
Yeah, but it's theirs now. They claimed it. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's talk about radio now, traditional media. For you, Ron, you worked in the radio industry for a long time.
Let's not say how long.
You are a veteran. So is radio that there was a time when they say radio is dead, no one listens to it, everybody's going online. What would you say to that?
There could be an argument against that, because I think each media has its own advantages and disadvantages, and I don't think that you could completely take away the advantages that radio has. Right? I think initially when internet came out, people looked at it and said, "Oh, that's going to replace TV. That's going to replace radio, or I can do my radio station on internet, or my TV station on internet." But the fact is that internet, it's a totally different media on its own, and it's so it acts differently, it behaves differently, and because of that, I don't think you can say that it'll totally kill radio or TV. They're different medias. Plus, when we get to the point where all the EMF starts coming out, radio will still. It's just a basic analog broadcast.
So video will kill the radio star. Internet kill the radio star. That's not gonna. Because people, in terms of listening to new artists, you think that people still discover them through the radio? Not something. It still
depends depends. If you're talking about radio, internet, of course, in the U.S. and discovering new music, it's really strong out there. But in the Philippines, I'd say radio is still strong.
They're not, but a lot of them are not taking chances anymore. You know what I mean? They just, especially with the labels, with signing artists, it's still the same old people that they keep.
They're going for the same sound.
Exactly. They're not looking, and I think that's the state of the record industry also now. It's changing, so they're not really putting into doing risks
anymore. I think that's global, though.
Yeah, that's global.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's face it, it's a matter of economics.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right. The cost of being able to record an artist and promote it that way, that costs. And if you compare that to being able to do it on the internet, like we said, which is democratized media, and democratized a lot of businesses involved in media, that is a clear, a factor in the whole economic makeup of the recording industry.
So how do you feel about music being shared freely online, if you can access it for free? I mean, you're a recording artist. Is that a big issue for you, that people can get your music, rip it off, rip you, get it for free?
Let's not rip off their stuff.
Let's share.
My take on it, if you can support and pay for the music, go ahead, please do. I mean, yeah, let's do that. But you know, the internet, you know, if it's on torrent, there's no stopping it already. It's like, you know, you gotta roll with it na lang eh.
Me as an artist, I'm also good with sharing. I support like sharing music and then spreading it around. As long as you don't